So we're ready to begin plumbing. The first tip I want to give you before we get started is I have all of my fittings and parts laid out in front of me. So basically I have everything roughed in. I don't want to get down in there and climb inside the hole and then not have all the parts that I need right at my fingertips. So let me explain to you before I get down in there what's happening here so you have a good idea before we get started. I'll give you an orientation before we do it. One of the most important fittings is we'll start at the top here. This is the fitting that we're going to put in the bottom of the top tank. So we'll drill a hole through, and this rubber grommet right here is going to give us a watertight seal. So this is going to go through that tank, and then we'll bolt this guy down and it'll be tight. Then this simple fitting right here, it's a male pipe adapter, Street 90. It's going to screw in, and that's going to glue with just a short piece of pipe to our grid assembly. So the inside of that tank will be complete as far as the return goes. Now out of the bottom of it, we'll put another pipe adapter and a quick little elbow like this. So this is going to be hanging below the tank, and here's the check valve that we talked about. This is a one-way valve. It allows water to go into the filter, and if you shut the pump off for maintenance, the water doesn't backflow through there. So our one-way valve or a check valve will be set up down there below the tank. Now, I prefer to put it in the vertical orientation because we have more pressure when water pressure's on in there. What you have inside is it's a hinge, if you will. It's a hinge, and it has rubber attached to it. So when the pump's pushing water into it, the hinge opens up, water goes up to your filter. When it shuts off, the hinge drops back down. Now, vertical orientation, it's pretty simple. It opens, it closes. Water pressure holds it closed. If in this sideways orientation, you want to make sure that hinge is on the top. So the water shoots in, it opens, and then it closes this way. If I have it upside down, then when it's shut off, that hinge is going to want to fall open. So it even says this side up on here, but I want you to pay close attention to that. So once I have that installed, I have a quick little bushing here and a barb fitting, and then we'll connect that to some vinyl tubing, and that'll swing over to the bottom tank, where we'll have another bulkhead fitting, and we're going to sneak this into the side and run all of our pipes behind the tanks in between the wood. We'll just have this cool little fitting here. We'll use some Teflon tape, and we'll have our barb fitting. I even have our hose clamps set up so we can do that. So that's a quick and easy deal. Now on the inside of the bottom tank, we're going to have another barb fitting, a little piece of vinyl tubing. It's black, so it kind of blends into the tank, and that'll take over to the heart and soul of which is the motor. We'll have the pump inside there. This is the Laguna Power Jet. I chose this small pump. It's got a really cool cage on it, so fish aren't going to get sucked up into it. Debris is not going to float around in there and get caught in the impeller. So I have all this surface area for stuff to land on, and it protects the pump. The cool thing about this pump is it's super energy efficient. It's rated at 32 watts. So when you kick this thing on, it might pull 32 watts. But it has a smart chip inside of it. So once it gets running and it finds its sweet spot, the watts will drop down, and this might pull 28 or even 25 watts when it's running in continuous duty. So it makes this little patio pond super efficient. Before I get this thing installed, I want to show you how to maintain this cool little pump. That way, once I get it up and flowing, I don't have to take it apart to show you how to do it. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to show you how to clean this thing real quick before we install it. The maintenance on this pump is going to start out really easy because this fitting right here is going to be what's attached to the pump, and that's going to shoot water to all the fittings that I was explaining. Now, when you want to service the pump, you're going to push that knob in, you're going to release the pump, leave that attached. You'll be able to pull the pump right out of the pond and set it on a bench. Now, if you'll notice down in here, you'll see these little yellow tabs. They look like screws, and they're not really screws. They're just a release pin, and this tool comes with the pump. So you're going to reach in there and just do a little twist, and you'll see it pops right out when you do the twist. Twist and it pops. So those 4 screws, and this whole thing comes off super sweet and easy like that. You can get to the pump right away. Now this guy comes apart. Super simple. See how easy this stuff is? Got a little bushing right here. Now every now and then I'm going to want you to pull this pump out at least a couple times a year and just clean it up. This little O-ring can get cleaned. It'll probably get some calcium on there. This is the impeller, and this thing is a magnet. So this is a mag drive pump. This is the magnet that spins. So when this motor starts, the magnets on the inside get this thing to start spinning like that. So if it starts to get some buildup on here, it won't spin so clean. So if you want to take that out, you can clean this with some vinegar. Make sure that these guys don't have any algae growing up on them, or maybe some snails or something like that. And then down in here, you can run something in there and get that clean. Just drop this guy back together, push it in. This is a ceramic stem right here, so you want to be careful not to break that when you're taking it in and out. So this guy's going to come back together like so. It's really too simple. This guy's going to drop back in here. The cord has its hole spot that comes out. Comes back on. Just like that. It was really that simple. Once again, this is anything that gets through these holes is usually going to get pushed up to the bog filter that we talked about. So this casing can suck water in from all these different spots. So the casing is pretty important, and then you'll just be able to snap it right back like this. Maintenance is done. So let's go ahead and get this thing plumbed up and we can install this guy. So we're on the inside of the tank. You can see our fitting's going to go right here. This is my little deal, and we got a little stub we're going to have to cut of 1.5 inch pipe. But for starters, I'm going to go ahead and drill this guy. Let me give you a tip before I drill. I always double check this. This is the right fitting right there. See how I did that? So now we're ready. Barely made it through on that one. Did you notice how I was just barely giving it a swirl like this on plastic? It tends to make a nice clean cut when I do that. So that was just a little trick I do in the field. I'll be able to, I'm not going to use Teflon tape on the inside of this because this is going to be full of water. My waterproof seal is here on this rubber piece, and it's just not necessary for me to put any on here. So I got that nice and tight. I'm going to slide that guy through, and then I'll reach underneath. I'm going to put this bolt on. Okay, got that guy on there. Before I drop it in place, I'm going to go ahead and put some Teflon tape on this and get my first fitting on here. So a rule of thumb right here is I typically go as tight as I can with my hand. And then just give it a little turn more. All right, that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this piece down. The next time I get in here, I'm gonna have to climb underneath and glue it together while it's in place. Back inside the tank, you'll see we just need to make a quick little connection here. I need approximately a 3-inch piece of 1.5 inch pipe. I'll cut that right now, and then we'll glue this together. Okay, before I make this last connection, I want to remind you that all of our slots are on this down side here, okay? So, making my last glue connection here. And then this guy will be in place. All right, now we're ready to go to the lower end of the tank.
Along the mountain range of the highest peaks, down to the endless plains of the deepest sea, to the glacial ice and desert so dry, down to the ocean ridge where smokers rise. We're searching